Happy Wednesday, FlowChat Connector. Sean back at you with another high ticket tune-up. Today we're going to talk about pay time versus non-pay time in high ticket sales. What's happening, FlowChat Connector? Kapow! Hope you're doing well today. Sean here back at you with another high ticket tune-up. Excited to be here today. We got an interesting topic. Pay time versus non-pay time. So let's just jump right into it. So the question came from Paul. Paul asked this. He says, Sean, I heard the term non-pay time. What does it actually mean? Like, what is pay time? What is non-pay time? How does this relate to my world? What's going on? Well, today I just wanted to give a very simple overview of what pay time is versus non-pay time with some examples so that you can use it in your world. So let's get going. Pay time, very simply, is the time you spend doing things that will actually bring you revenue. So here is a quick snapshot of probably the most valuable pay time activities during high ticket sales profession versus non-pay time, right? So the first one, finding customers, right? It's our job to be finding customers all the time, right? Writing down like a journal. Journaling is one of the things that I always do. I always have a journal nearby. So I got one here, right here. I have a bunch of them behind me. And whenever I come across somebody who is like, yo, this would be a good customer, I open my journal and I just write the name down. In fact, I have a specific space for that. So pay time activity is finding new customers. What's another one? Another one is getting appointments. If you're actually doing the prospecting work and you're saying, hey, get out your calendar, let's find a time to meet. That, again, is pay time. Why? Because you're spending time that's going to generate a conversation that's going to eventually turn into money for you. What's another one? Making sales calls, right? Anything to do with making sales calls in terms of being on the call with somebody is another pay time activity. A non-pay time activity with sales calls is practicing sales calls. If you're not practicing sales calls, I encourage you to do so. Again, you should have some sort of a selling system and a prospecting system. And if you don't, reach out to me, drop a comment below. There's always a conversation, of course. But again, if you don't have a system, you're probably getting burned and that sucks. But pay time activity, making sales calls is one of them. Making referral calls. So if somebody's coming and bringing stuff to you saying, hey, you need to meet Joe or Scott or Kyle or whoever, getting on the phone with those referrals, that is considered pay time activity. And lastly is servicing customers. And it should be in this order, right? As a sales professional, high ticket sales professional, your job is to generate revenue. That's it. There's nothing else about that, right? So what are the main focus things that you need to do in order to generate revenue? These 5 things are probably the most important for pay time activity. So keep focused on those 90% of your day, where 10% of your day should be the other time. Again, pay time activity should occur between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. when other people can do business, transactional business, right? So whatever time zone that might be for you, some people work different hours than 8 to 5, but normally it's just that 8 to 5 window. So what is a non-pay time activity? First one is writing proposals. A lot of sales professionals will go in and they'll say, well, I'm writing a proposal. That's pay time. Well, it's not actually pay time. Why? Because your client is not giving you a credit card, cutting a check, dropping a purchase order, right? You are not actively having a conversation with a prospect to generate pay. So writing a proposal is something that should come after hours, not during the day. So this, if your sales pros are doing this, or if you're finding yourself doing this, figure out another time when you can write proposals that's outside of the working hours of when your customers are going to be working. Okay. Next one, updating your CRM, right? What I like to do is I try to do this as real time as possible. If I'm having a sales call, I'm in an appointment, even if I'm doing prospecting work, I have a system that I can automatically update my CRM real time so it doesn't actually take any of my pay time. See, typically where you take notes on calls, you better be taking notes on calls, right? Those notes need to get transferred into a CRM. If you're doing it manually, I used to take a boatload of notes in a notebook, and then after my sales calls, I would put them into the CRM. Well, I was finding myself doing that during the working hours, and what happened was all of a sudden I was like, I can't make any more calls. I guess I'm done for the day, and then I would never get the results. So if you're updating your CRM and you're not spending time on the pay time stuff, change your habits. Next one's researching markets, right? This should be done in maybe the early hours before you get into it. Typically, I like to do the research of markets and learning competition, the next one there, early in the morning before I go into the day. So I have those thoughts kind of floating around. I like to look at advantages and disadvantages of other people and what works and what doesn't. But I do this before I actually do my reach outs or I do my sales activities, right? So this is a non-pay time activity and it should be completed non-pay time hours. And last one's just designing mailings or building up marketing. The other piece here, these ones are really important, right? So like if we looked at all of these things, I think there'd be some debate. Now, if you debate this is great. Please post a comment below because it's always a conversation and I want to know what you think. But for me, as somebody who's gone through, 20 plus years of high ticket sales, closed a lot of business, I find that these are kind of the main buckets of pay time versus non-pay time. And I think most people that see this list will be like, oh yeah, you're totally right, Sean. Like I understand what pay time is. I understand what non-pay time is. And so if you're doing it yourself or you're managing a team that's doing it, just stay really, really clear on what those people need to be doing versus what they shouldn't be doing. And if you keep their focus 90% of the day on the pay time activity only, you're going to find that more deals will turn over for you. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So with that said, guess what? You've just been tuned up. There's a FlowChat connector inside of each and every one of you. So grateful that you're here today listening to this. Please smash the like button, feed the algorithm, share this out to everybody that actually needs this, and of course, subscribe to the channel. With that said, I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Go fight, win. Bye now.